Hi, gang. As y'all know, I am. Excuse me. I'm currently unemployed, but that's not going to stop me from doing what I feel is necessary or what I want to do. Let's just say I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm definitely going to be looking for a job. I cannot see myself sitting around for hours on end with no productivity. Some people might say this is productive, but um, right now it's not earning me any money because I don't have enough viewers. I'm a little shy of 300 right now. I've got probably around 296, 297, somewhere around there. Um, I'm not one to, well, I shouldn't say I'm not one to beg, but those of you who can get people to watch my videos and help me out, that'd be great. Not a necessity. Um, I'm taking one day at a time, and this is. I'm just gonna say this is day one of a new start for me. Granted, I've had a couple days to sit back, relax, contemplate, plan, and try to execute some of those plans. Um, Other than that, everything is fine and dandy. Jerry Ann and I are just doing what we do best and loving each other and just taking one day at a time and trying to put our best foot forward. Um, Anyhow, I did a while back ago say that I was going to start doing a. Actually, I said it yesterday that I was going to start doing a probably daily, if not more than daily, vlog video, whatever you want to call it. One video per day will be at least something to do with my past and how I got from there to here. Um, One of the other videos may or may not pertain towards Bible studies or just the way I feel about our world today. Um, so let's go ahead and get started with day one of a 10-day or more. I can't even say chat because it's not even live, but a video. Um, so day one is basically going to be my introduction to. Excuse me, my eye is bugging me, and no, it's not because I'm getting emotional. I think I had something in it. Um, it's an introduction to me. Basically, my name is James Henson, or James David Henson, depending on where you want to go. I'm not going to give you more than my name because it's out there. But anyhow, my name is James D. Henson. I was born in October of '71 at Clark Air Force Base, Angeles City. My father was an Air Force Staff Sergeant um, from Illinois. My mom, just a house, just your everyday housewife. Um, up until up until the time we got to Germany, which is further down the line. I Yeah, I pretty much grew up in the military. Every 3 years we moved someplace new. I don't remember every place we've been to unless it. Well, I don't remember it as my memory. Know it as stories from my mom and dad. Um, Basically, when I was a baby, I was rambunctious even as a baby. I mean, when we lived in the Philippine Islands, we had mostly hardwood floors, and there in the Philippines, everything hardwood is made out of mahogany, which is one of the five top strongest or hardest woods on the face of the planet. Um, Excuse me. But even as a baby, I used to climb out of the crib, go face first into the hardwood floor and just kind of go, eh, like it didn't phase me. My parents told me about one time when I was before we left the Philippines. My dad was trying to get me to walk, and a pair of dogs from the neighbors came running by, knocked me over, head first into concrete. Dad said it didn't even phase me. I just kind of went, eh. Not even a full blown cry, just more of like, eh. Like it hurt. I maybe that's can contribute to some of my psychological flaws, I guess you'd say. I don't process pain or grief the same as some people. Um, yes, it does affect me, but not the same or instantaneously like most people. I can tell you some horror stories of things that has happened to me or I've done to myself that most people would be like freaked out about, but I wasn't. And everything that happened to me, I'm not even going to say bad parenting because my father was a disciplinarian, but he was also very like affectionate and caring. Um, my mom, granted, because she was kind of young for her age, I guess for her time period or whatever, to get married. She was the youngest of three, last one to get married, last one to have a child. But she was, as she put it, I think, ill prepared psychologically to have and care for a child. She never, she even when I grew up after my father passed away, she still had trouble not only trying to understand me as her child, but understand how to. She wasn't the disciplined person. She wasn't the person to give discipline, so she had issues in that area. Um, I don't remember. I don't remember Utah. I don't. Well, I don't even remember if I was alive by then. I don't remember coming back from the Philippines. I don't remember mom and I living in Gerald, Missouri, with her parents for a short period of time, while Dad was over in Thailand helping the exit from Vietnam. He was a helicopter mechanic at the time. I remember a little bit about Tucson and all the warnings that my dad used to give me as a kid, not to go playing in the canals during monsoon season because if you see a little bit of water in that canal, it's too late. You're gonna get washed away by water. In fact, he had to yank me out of the canal one time because I couldn't climb up fast enough. Um, Vaguely remember Little Rock, Arkansas, and some of the issues that my family had there between Dad's issues with his superior officer and them trying to basically get him out of the military for being overweight, which was kind of funny because according to the story, his commanding officer and the lieutenant who agreed to it that wanted to put him on the Fat Boy program were probably about as big, if not bigger than him, size wise. Um, but that was a whole bunch of stuff that I don't remember. I just remember that my parents went through a lot of issues. My dad got a night job working at a what we call a truckomat, which is basically a car wash for the big rigs. Um, Dad used to hose them, wash them off at night. He got that as a secondary job to supplement the income because at the time we were having financial issues. And I remember stories from my parents saying that I used to sleepwalk. and the only thing that I can contribute that to is the high volumes of stress because I've always been sensitive to other people's emotions, whether it was negative or positive. Unfortunately, my environment after my father passed away, between me and mom, became negative. I was suffering from manic depression and other issues, which I will discuss in the future. Um, I grew up in, then we moved from Little Rock to Germany, which I thought was the best 3 years of my life. Then after Germany, we came back to the States, to Phoenix, Arizona, where Dad retired and worked for Hughes Helicopters, aka McDonnell Douglas Incorporated, building the Apache. And even though we lived in the Phoenix metropolitan area, we moved from one part of Phoenix to another part of Phoenix to Paradise Valley to Mesa, Arizona. So even after Dad retired, we moved every so many years, whether it was to be closer to one job or to get into a better housing situation or whatever. And then, of course, shouldn't say of course, but around 80, 85, 86. No, I take that back. 86, 87. Um, we had multiple deaths in the family, including my father. It was, I even give it to you in chronological order. Um, my mom's Aunt Helen, my grandmother, my mom's mom, my dad, and then my dad's oldest sister all died within 18 months of each other. It struck me like, well, let's just say it was cataclysmic in my life. I was not even 16, but it was not even 16. I was not even 16 by the time my father passed away. So I just kind of went from a normal everyday person to a hollow shell of an entity. Um, but that's also something that will be discussed in depth later on. By the mid, Mom and I stayed in Arizona until about the early to mid 90s. Then we moved. Yeah, we moved. We moved to back here to Missouri, and we moved to Rolla, where the town where we currently live, not the same house. Actually, we didn't even. No, when we got back, excuse me. When we got to Missouri, we were living for a while in Dixon, then Rolla, then St. James, and then back to Rolla. And then by the late, no, I shouldn't say late. Yeah, late '90s. By the late '90s, I went to Yellowstone National Park to work a summer, and that was '98. Actually, before '98, '97, I tried to go into college. That didn't work out so great because I have learning issues, and because of my learning issues, I could not go in the next year because my financial aid basically would not cover me because I was not able to keep a certain grade point average. Well, here's the funny thing. When I was back in high school, we all knew I had learning disabilities, reading, writing. I wouldn't say basic English, but more like punctuation, which I guess you'd say is writing. That, in fact, because of my learning disability, whether you want to call it dyslexia, ADD, hyperactivity, whatever you want to call it, um, my brain would either add a letter or subtract a letter from a word, which made my spelling difficult. The advantage I had was if I knew what the words were, I could read them backwards and upside down. So I could be standing in front of the teacher, and the page she's reading would be facing her, and I'd be able to look down and read what she was reading. Um, it was just the way my brain my brain linked information, according to one psychiatrist, doctor, whatever you can call him. I had that one teacher that, granted, I will discuss more when I get to my high school years. That helps me out a lot, and proved that if I was focused on the material, I could read it. I could understand it. I could go above and beyond. Unfortunately, um, the college I went to, which is actually a Bible, it was a Bible college, because I didn't know if I wanted to go into ministry, missionary, or radio. Um, Luckily, I had the first year to basically decide what my major was going to be by the end of that year, and I think by that end of the year, I had decided radio ministry, combined ministry and radio, because I loved, still do, love Christian music. Artists like artists like Amy Grant, Carmen, Sandy Patty, Stephen Chris, Stephen Chris Chapman, the group For Him, and Point of Grace, really kept me from going off the deep end when I was going through my depression. But then the summer of '98, which was after my first school year, and found that I wasn't going to be able to come back the next year because of my grade point average, I got a job with who was running it at the time? I don't remember. But anyhow, I got a summer job in Yellowstone National Park. Loved it. Did not want to come home. But I was also going through issues like anxiety. Um, Excuse me if I don't know the words, but I didn't have a lot of self confidence in holding down a job, let alone being away from home. I guess you consider it like almost like separation anxiety, but not exactly, because I was concerned about mom's well being, being alone, and things that also happened during my high school years, which I will discuss later. So I was going through a lot of things still, and I was still not sure of myself. Um, so when I got back home, well, I came back home early because I was just not confident enough to stay for the full contract, let's say. So I got home, was depressed again. Wasn't dealing with I wasn't as depressed as I was back in the '80s. I still had bouts of depression and whatnot. I still do. 47 years old, I still have bouts of depression. But I came home, had trouble finding a job. It was towards the I guess it was towards the beginning of the school session, and being as Rolla is a state college, there's a lot of college kids here, and we nearly double in population when the college starts up. So a lot of the jobs get taken real quick. So I had trouble finding a job, and unfortunately back then I was focused on one specific area of work, which was fast food customer service. Um, Thanks to Jerry Ann, um, I've expanded that, so I'm looking in everything I can. Gas station attendant, hotel customer service at hardware shop. I'm kind of shying away from fast food because those are the jobs that I've been getting let go of for one reason or another. Still unknown to me. I personally think they fear the factor that I know so much and I learned so quickly that I'm rapidly gaining to their position in fat and twice, if not 10 times, the speed that it took most of the current managers, which is fine. Hey, do what you got to do to keep your job. It's not going to affect me. Um, but anyhow, towards June, July, because I only stayed in Yellowstone a couple months. I should have been there 6, and I stayed like 3. Um, Made up an excuse for coming home. That's on me. I've learned from my mistakes. But anyhow, about June, July, thereabouts, I started using the computer that we had at home for more than just games. It's like, oh look, you've got internet access. You can go to AOL chat rooms. Okay, sure, no problem. I'll look into them. Looked into chat rooms. I Most of the chat rooms I went into at first were subject matters that I was interested in, like gaming, new age, and nature, general chats, basically. Well, one day I got bored and went into a chat room entitled BBA. What's BBA? I don't know. I'll look into it. It was basically a chat room where people chat to pick up. Well, I wouldn't say pick up, but they chatted about. Well, I found out what BBA is. Big, beautiful angels. I was like, okay, I don't even understand the terminology, but I'm new at this. I happened to just basically type in. I thought was innocent because I was naive. Naive at the age of. Excuse me. Naive at the age of late 20s. 2070s, I think it was. I forgot. But anyhow, I just happened to type in, "Does anybody want to cuddle?" And that's when me and Joanne started chatting on the. First, we started chatting online. Then we started private messaging, and then the phone. The phone was a big mistake, not because of the factor we were able to hear each other's voices and kind of connect a little bit better than when you could on a just text, words. And I'm more of a verbal person than a writing, person who writes stuff. Well, yes and no. I can write when I want to. But anyhow, that's when after a couple months. No, it might have been later than July, but anyhow, late September, early August, it was decided maybe I should just go out there, meet her family, see what happens, see if we get along. If not, she'd be willing to pay for a ticket to come back to Missouri. Well, obviously, I didn't come back to Missouri. Um, and, well, that's kind of the short of it. No, because we got married August 5th, 2000. We've been together since then. Um, Lived with her father until he passed away because one, she's like me. She's family. She cares about her family and whatnot, no matter how. Yeah, I'm gonna be nice and just say it, no matter how bad they can get. Um, after he passed away, we stayed there because we figured okay, we'd earn enough money, get, settle his estate and all that, which is still not settled. Well, we're supposed to be getting some money from it soon. I'm not holding my breath because I've been waiting for 7. This has been going on for 7 years, and it's taken her brother that long to finalize it. And it wasn't his choice; it was an insurance collector's choice. But I'm not going to get into that because that's something on down the line. But anyhow, Hurricane Sandy came along. Luckily, we were in a safety zone because of where her job was outside the red zone. Anything below the red zone kind of got flood damage of one form or another, if not totally destroyed. So we were not in the house when it all happened, but the house got flooded about 5 feet worth of water. If it wasn't for the fact that they had a crawl space, it would have been 5 feet in the house and not 2 feet under and 3 feet in the house. Lost a lot of memorabilia and stuff and had to throw a bunch of stuff out. But it gave us the final push to basically leave New York because um, Blue Shield Blue Cross basically said anybody who wants to leave the area, whether it was move out of their current location to someplace else on Long Island or out of state, we took the option to leave state to move out here. Um, Partially because Jerry wanted to leave New York anyhow. She didn't want to live there no more because she was starting to realize how bad it was there. Not only financially, but just the rudeness, the people, and how they can be. Um, and she had been to Georgia with one of her friends. She's been to Missouri with me, Ohio with me, and my family. And she was like, "Let's go ahead and pack it up and move." And we had been planning on doing that, the move before her father passed away. It's just Sandy kind of gave us the final, you need to leave. Um, Jerry knew I was an only child, so she knew it would be smarter to live closer. Because we had talked about it and we said, let's move closer to your mom so if and when she starts losing because of health or whatnot, we'd be there. It would be less expensive for us to just say, hey, we're around the corner. Well, we moved in with mom, thinking, get a place of our own, blah, blah, blah. I got myself a job. And, well, instead of finding a place of our own, we all just said, you know what, why don't we just, for expense wise, why don't we all just move into a house together? Luckily, we were able to find a house where there's bedrooms and the kitchen on one side, and there's bedrooms on the other side. The living room is right in the middle, which, by the looks of this house, when it was originally built, it was originally built with a dining room, eat-in country style kitchen, and 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. Well, they did an upgrade, turned the large dining room into one room and then another room, and turned the garage into a living room. And then further on, they looks like they expanded to add 2 more rooms at the other end of the living room, which made it perfect for us. That and the fact that we can sit in the living room and have the curtains open, and we have a view of a field where we see deer. We've seen a couple foxes. We've seen groundhogs, raccoons, possum. I thought there was something else we saw, but I can't remember. We've seen birds of prey swoop down into our field of vision. Um, couldn't ask for a more perfect home, basically. The only thing we could ask for that would be a little bit better for this place would be during the wintertime, because the heat is on the furnace is on our side. Our side of the house gets hot fast. Mom's side of the house, unfortunately, she has to we alternate. Down here, this side during the summertime, we open our vents and she closes hers. During the wintertime, we do the opposite. We close our vents and open hers because me and Jerry, when we go to bed, doesn't matter what time of year it is, unless it's freezing cold in that room and it's like Arctic temperatures outside, we are still kicking off covers. Um, One of the reasons for that is my medical condition, whatever it is. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but the average human being, when they go to bed, go to sleep, their body temperature drops. Mine goes up. It's been that way since I was a little kid. I mean, I can go to bed with a normal 96, 98, 97 degrees body temperature, which might not be normal, but that's what my body temperature range is when I'm awake. But when I go to sleep, it can jump to almost 99 degrees. And as my wife has called me multiple times, I am a human heating blanket. That's just the way my body is, my body chemistry. Body chemistry. There is what I'm looking for. But anyhow, after we moved back, well, I'm pretty sure you know most of the story. Um, that is the. I'm sorry, I gotta take a look at my notes. Yeah, that is basically the short of it. I mean, that's the intro, so you can get to know me a little bit better. If you haven't noticed yet, I can't sit. One, can't sit still. Two, I skip around like a bunny rabbit on steroids. Well, maybe not that bad. Unfortunately, if the volume comes and goes, it's because my old iPhone 6s has been having problems with volume control. Um, I'm trying to work on that. Maybe it's just me. Maybe sometimes I go high low. I don't know. The idea was for me to use Jerry-Ann's phone to do some of my videos, but Jerry-Ann is very busy on her own phone, trying to do her own thing with her videos and correspondence to all her friends that hopefully are starting to become my friends. I've noticed I've had a couple of them jump over. In fact, I had a very lovely person. Fortunately, I do not remember names, but she is a friend of Jerry-Ann's. I think she's now a friend on my channel. Put a Facebook message with a link to my channel. Granted, she put the one about Germany on there, which is kind of surprising. Um, I will talk more about Germany in the future. In fact, some of my 10 different things I want to put out here, maybe multiple parters because of their length. Like right now, this one is almost 34, 35 seconds long, or minutes, not seconds. I'm sorry. I'm looking at two different sets of numbers and realizing what I'm talking about. um, Throughout these videos, you will see me get emotional, whether it's aggravated, tearful. Um, I do not hide who I am. Do not hide my emotions. I do not hide my feelings. I do not hide my opinions. And yes, I can be very opinionated on certain things, especially religion and politics. One is the reason why religion is because the fact that I have not participated, but I have studied a ton on various religions from around the world, new, old, pagan, God fearing. I've read, studied both sides of the coin. Politics. The reason why politics is a sore subject with me is because the factor being raised in the military, you're not exactly happy with the politics of the time, but you do have an opinion on it. So I will tell you right now, do not ask me questions about Trump because, as far as I'm concerned, he's a two-faced yellow-bellied lion. Whatever. I want to be nice about it. Use your favorite unhappy word towards him, and you'll probably get close to how I feel about him. Yes, I agree with some of his ideas, but no, I do not agree with his methodology or the way he's doing things. Because, well, let's just say the side of him that I saw first and foremost came from Jersey, where he had particular properties that he did not take care of, and then he also tried to buy a large chunk of land in Scotland to build his own golf course. And the gentleman who basically he tried to get the land from, who was a sheep farmer who's had that land for centuries, basically told him to go take a flying leap. And I went, yes! It takes a Scotsman to talk back to an American. Uh, but anyhow, that's for somewhere down the line. This is ow, I'm sorry. As you might be able to tell, I have some skin issues. But anyhow, yeah, I'm gonna end this because if I don't, it's gonna be an hour long, and some people may not want to watch the whole thing. Sorry. Of course, to be honest with you, if you watch the whole thing, you might see a lot of yeah, a lot of my screwy personality come out. As for me doing my own private live feeds in the future, yes and no. The problem I have with live feeds, or the problem I foresee me having as a live feed, um, as you may notice if you watch me and Jerry Ann together, she's more the talkative one, and she will basically be the one who commandeer the chat, which I'm fine because most of the chat has been for her, not me. So if I go to do a live feed, I don't know if I'm going to be by myself or she's going to be there to read comments and moderate. That's the word I was in, moderate. But we will see. Anyhow, I am going to sign off and try to put this video out. Hopefully, I can edit it so you guys can hear my voice. Um, anyhow, have a good day. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more and you have not subscribed yet, go ahead and hit the bell so you know when I put out a video. Hopefully you enjoy them. Any comments, questions, whatever, go ahead and put them down. I will try to be diligent enough to reply, read, whatever. I know in the past I've just kind of glanced at it and went, oh, that's that. Okay, okay, okay. But I have. There's been one or two people who've asked questions, and I've tried to get on here to answer them via video because sometimes, like I said before, my skill with typing and whatnot and that kind of stuff is not the greatest. I know we've had one or two, or at least Joanne has had one or two family members or friends say, "Hey, I'll be happy to answer your comments and whatnot. I'll be happy to be your secretary." I don't think I'll ever ask anybody to do that for me because I like to be hands on. Anyhow, I've overdone it again for almost a 40-minute video, but hopefully you'll see me or I'll hear from you in the near future. I might even throw in a Bible study verse later on this evening. No, I'm not a minister, so please don't ask. I just do this combination for me, and I just feel like letting people know how I feel about things. I don't know why. Anyhow, see you guys later. Bye.